In 2018, a couple was walking along a quiet beach in Western Australia. It was the kind of place where almost nothing ever happens. Just sand, wind, and the sound of the ocean. As they walked, something half buried in the sand caught their attention. At first, it looked like nothing more than trash, an old glass bottle worn down by time and salt. They almost kept walking, but something about it felt different, intentional, as if it had been placed there rather than lost. They picked it up. Inside the bottle, there was a piece of paper, folded carefully, tied with an old piece of string. The paper looked fragile, yellowed by time, but surprisingly, it was still readable. What they were holding was not recent. It was a message written more than 50 years earlier. This is a true story. No exaggeration, no fiction. And what makes it incredible is not what the message said, but the journey it took to be found. The discovery happened near Wedge Island, a remote stretch of coastline along the western coast of Australia. It's not a tourist destination. There are no crowds, just long beaches shaped by wind and waves. When the couple carefully unfolded the paper, they noticed a date written at the top: June 12th, 1966. To understand how unusual this is, it helps to imagine life at sea during the 1960s. There was no GPS, no satellite tracking, no instant communication. Ships relied on maps, instruments, and experience. Once something was thrown into the ocean, it was effectively gone forever. For sailors at the time, the sea was vast, unpredictable, and largely unexplored. The message itself was simple. There was no poetry, no dramatic language. It stated that the bottle had been thrown into the ocean from a German ship. It listed the ship's name, the exact date, and the coordinates of where it had entered the sea. At the bottom, there was a short request. If found, please report where it was discovered. At first, the couple assumed it was a replica, or perhaps part of a modern prank. After all, the ocean destroys almost everything. Paper rarely survives weeks, let alone decades, but curiosity got the better of them. They decided to investigate. They searched for the ship's name online. To their surprise, the ship was real. A German cargo vessel called Paula, active during the 1960s. As they continued researching, they uncovered something even more interesting. During that period, German scientists and sailors conducted long-term experiments. Messages were placed inside bottles and released into the sea. Each one was carefully documented. The goal was to study ocean currents, to understand how water moved across the world's oceans over time. Every bottle had a record. Every message had a purpose. Suddenly, this wasn't just a strange coincidence. It was part of a scientific experiment that had been forgotten for decades. The couple contacted maritime museums and scientific archives in Germany. Days passed, then weeks. They didn't know if anyone would even respond. Eventually, confirmation arrived. The message was authentic. The handwriting matched archived documents. The ship's log confirmed the date. Even the type of paper and ink matched the era. There was no doubt. The bottle had entered the ocean in 1966, and it had traveled more than 9,000 miles. Ocean currents move slowly, but they never stop. Day after day, the bottle drifted, guided by invisible forces beneath the surface. It survived storms, extreme heat, constant exposure to salt water. Most objects disappear within weeks. Very few survive years. This one survived half a century. It was officially recognized as the oldest verified message in a bottle ever found. The odds of this happening were almost impossible. Thousands of similar bottles had been released during the same experiment. Almost all of them were never recovered. This one was different. A statistical anomaly made real by chance. But the story didn't end with a world record. Archived records revealed something else. The message had been written by a young German sailor. At the time, throwing the bottle into the ocean was just another routine task. Remarkably, he was still alive. Now elderly, he was contacted and shown photographs of the bottle. He remembered the moment clearly. Throwing it into the sea had felt ordinary, forgettable. He never expected anyone to find it. Certainly not 50 years later. Certainly not on the other side of the world. For him, it was a small action. For the couple who found it, it was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. A quiet connection between strangers, linked only by time and chance. Think about what had to happen for this moment to exist. The bottle had to survive. The paper had to stay dry. The currents had to move in just the right way. And someone had to notice it. And decide not to walk past. What makes this story even more fascinating is that thousands of similar bottles were released during that experiment. Almost all of them were never recovered. This one was an exception. A statistical impossibility made real by chance. It wasn't fate, it wasn't destiny, just time, motion, and a moment of attention. Stories like this don't rely on fantasy. They remind us that reality itself can be extraordinary, that even the smallest actions can echo across decades, and somewhere right now, beneath waves or buried in sand, something forgotten may still be waiting to be found.